The markers in your blood are unlike anything we've ever analyzed. The projected value is extraordinary, potentially millions.
3 years ago, I thought my life was set in stone. I had a stable job as a creative director at an advertising firm where I'd spent nearly 2 decades. I had a wife, Lisa, and a life that felt solid, predictable. I believed in loyalty and putting in the work and seeing it pay off. Turns out, loyalty is a two-way street, and I was driving on a one-way road to disaster. It all started when the company downsized. They eliminated my position. The vote to cut me loose was cast by my best friend and business partner, Derek. I went home that day completely shattered, expecting to find some comfort, some support. Instead, Lisa handed me divorce papers, not weeks or months later, 4 days. Just 4 days after losing my job, I was losing my marriage. What followed was a financial slaughter. Her lawyer wasn't just aggressive. He was a machine built to dismantle a man's life. In court, they took almost everything. The house my grandmother helped me buy, my entire savings, my car. They even took the espresso machine I'd saved up for months to buy. She walked away with 70% of our assets. I walked out with $247, a pocket watch from my grandfather, and a single suitcase. That night, Lisa called. I thought maybe, just maybe, she felt a shred of remorse. I was wrong. She called to gloat. She told me I'd die alone, broke, and forgotten. Then she dropped the final bomb. She said Derek told her she could do better than mediocre. And in that one venomous sentence, the truth stabbed me awake. It wasn't just a divorce, it was a coordinated attack. Lisa and Derek, my wife and my best friend, had been together behind my back. The same Derek who pushed me out of my job. The same Derek I once called my brother. I spent the next week holed up in a tiny studio apartment that smelled of mildew and despair. I was just trying to figure out how to survive. One night, I saw an ad for a plasma donation center. They were offering $40. My pride was gone. I just needed to buy groceries, so I went. And that $40 decision changed my life forever. As soon as they tested my blood, the atmosphere in the clinic shifted. Nurses started whispering, doctors were rushing in, and urgent phone calls were being made. Within 20 minutes, 3 men in expensive suits walked in. One of them introduced himself as Robert Sterling, the CEO of a massive pharmaceutical company. They told me something unbelievable. My blood carried a genetic mutation so rare their global database estimated only 3 to 5 people on Earth had it. This mutation was the key to curing Kellerman syndrome, a fatal neurological disorder that primarily affects children. My plasma, the very thing I was selling for grocery money, could save lives. Robert slid a contract across the table. It was an offer for exclusive rights to my plasma. The number on the page made my head spin, $17 million. $6 million up front, the rest paid out over 5 years, plus royalties that could potentially triple that amount. In the span of a few seconds, I went from desperate to a multi-millionaire, but I didn't tell a soul. Not even my closest remaining friend, Paul. I waited until the first $6 million hit my bank account. The reality of it was staggering. A few days later, Paul called with more devastating news. He'd uncovered the full extent of Lisa and Derek's betrayal. It had been a year-long plan. They had engineered my firing, drained our joint savings through coordinated legal attacks, and plotted it all so Derek could take my position and orchestrate the sale of the company for a huge payday. Hearing that, the anger I felt was replaced by something colder, sharper, clarity. I didn't want emotional, messy revenge. I wanted precision. I wanted justice, so I stayed quiet. To the world, I was still the broken, jobless man living in a rundown apartment, but in private, I was assembling an army. With my newfound resources, I created shell corporations. I hired a team of the best private investigators and forensic accountants money could buy. My first move was to buy up Derek's significant gambling debts from his bookie. Then, I found the dream house Lisa was planning to move into and bought it right out from under her through one of my anonymous companies. All the while, my investigators were quietly gathering every shred of evidence of fraud at Derek's firm. Derek and Lisa were celebrating their victory, completely oblivious. They thought they had won. They had no idea the ground beneath their feet was about to give way. My team worked silently, meticulously. When the time was right, we made our move. The investigators presented their findings on Derek's fraudulent financials to the board of Whitmore Media, the company that was about to acquire his firm. The multi-million-dollar deal was dead on arrival. Their world started to crumble, but I wasn't done. My tech investigator had created a fake online profile and engaged Derek in what he believed was an emotional affair. We had documented everything. I anonymously leaked the proof of his infidelity online. The fallout was spectacular. Lisa, enraged and humiliated, found Derek at their country club and smashed his Porsche with a golf club in the parking lot. The videos went viral instantly. Their toxic partnership imploded in a public firestorm. Their money vanished. Lawsuits piled up from all directions. The company board, facing a massive scandal, fired Derek for fraud. But it didn't end there. The evidence we collected led to criminal charges, wire fraud, embezzlement. They turned on each other, each blaming the other for their downfall. In the end, neither could escape. Derek was sentenced to 9 years in federal prison. Lisa got 6. While their world was burning down, mine was being rebuilt in ways I never imagined. My plasma donations were working miracles. Parents of children with Kellerman syndrome started sending me videos of kids taking their first steps, of them laughing and playing, living lives they were never supposed to have. Robert Sterling, the CEO, was so impressed with my insight that he invited me to join his executive team, and my royalties. They climbed past $40 million. Months later, I agreed to meet Lisa. We sat in the very same cafe, at the very same booth where I'd asked her on our first date years ago. She looked different, smaller, worn down, defeated. She whispered, "Please, I need help." I looked at the woman I once loved, the woman who tried to destroy me for money and ego, the woman who laughed at my pain. For a moment, I saw a flicker of the person she used to be. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by the memory of her cruelty. I leaned forward slightly. "No," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "Now you know what it feels like." I stood up, left her sitting in the ruins she had built for herself, and walked away without looking back. Today, my life is peaceful. I have a home filled with warmth, surrounded by people who genuinely care about me. I have a purpose, working in a field that saves lives. The kids who were given a death sentence are now running, jumping, and laughing because of something that flows through my veins. Lisa once called me mediocre. She and Derek thought they could break me, but they didn't break me. They forged me. You see, adequate men don't need revenge. They rise above. And that's exactly what I did. Thanks for listening to my story. If you found this inspiring, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you next time.